Aaron Olson.
Hey, Brian.
How are you, sir?
Hey, it's been good. Been a good week getting some of our research out there now. So,
Yeah, man. You want to just real quick touch on that, like what we put out?
well, this is recorded in the future, we do things. So,
Oh,
so
top secret.
yeah, well, no, it's fun. Actually, it's gonna be old news. Some of the stuff we pushed out were a couple infographics this week. Last time the ENR 400s updated their website, like news and blog posts, which we'll actually talk about a little bit in this topic. And the other one was actually we were comparing more the ENR 400 to the average companies, the local regional companies, the $100 million companies. So we've talked on some of that a little bit more in the past episodes, and we're trying to line up some of how we drop episodes in our social content at the same time. But some of it, we also just have all this fun social, this research that we can't really. We're excited to share. We can't wait. So we've been kind of sneaking some of that out before it really officially hits the podcast. So.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, so it's been good stuff on all that, but no, and actually, one of those is kind of spurring this conversation was we posted stuff, and we got an interesting comment, basically from a construction CEO. Is like, well, basically, in summary, they're all the comments. Websites don't matter to construction companies.
Yeah, we see it all the time. So before we move into that, let's tell everybody what we're talking about today. Top 10 reasons why executive mentality gets construction websites completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is. It's the top of where, and you and I have been doing this for decades. We've seen construction companies focus on websites, we've seen them not focus on websites, and seen the ramifications both ways. And one of the biggest issues we constantly have is just this mentality of websites don't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
You're not. Gonna, what was the comment? You're not going to sell a construction project through your website.
Correct. People don't make multi-million-dollar decisions
as if it's e-commerce.
Yeah, which I mean, I agree. It's not an e-commerce transaction.
Not e-commerce. No, we agree on that.
Yeah, it's totally not. But you totally lose that transaction, that relationship through your website, because if you're not credible on your website, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, so let's talk about the mentality. So it typically comes from the very top, right? The very top has been in the company long time, founder led, whatever, and they've never used a website. They've had relationships, handshakes, lots and lots of what I would call business development, as we know, business development, lots of nurturing, helping existing relationships flourish and grow and expand. And all of that, which is obviously vitally important to the growth and health of any construction or trade company, right? So because of that, it's kind of like this. If I could teleport and go from my house to, I don't know, say Dallas, an hour away, and get there in 5 minutes, but somebody's trying to sell me a car, I would probably be like, I don't really need a car.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. However, we can't teleport, right? So I need a car to get where I'm going. Same thing kind of goes with if you've been able to just generate business and nurture accounts and grow within those relationships, your mindset is going to be like, I don't need a website.
Correct.
I'm able to grow my company, build my company, and support my company without that tool. And when we talk about websites, we're not just saying about a home, about and service pages and all that. We're talking about your entire web ecosystem.
Yeah.
Everything starts with the website and then branches out to, citations, backlinks, other companies pointing back to you, speaking about you, social media, the whole thing. So just really digital marketing as a whole. But the mentality of I'm not, quote unquote, I'm not going to sell a construction project on my website.
Yeah.
As if somebody's putting in the credit card and ordering a building.
I mean, it's actually not what we should probably experiment with that, Ryan. Like, let's go set up some e-commerce websites for contractors, and technically you can do it with like metal buildings and all, but let's say more
you can do it with anything. Plug in all the parameters and have it total everything up and spit you out a quote right at the end and just order it. Put your credit card in.
Let's go build some multi-million-dollar products. let's see if we can do that. Got a new experiment to do, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's and that's part of the problem is you don't know what you don't know. And we've seen a lot of it just as we've redone websites with contractors over the years of before and after. You had a great case study you mentioned a few episodes ago. A contractor was getting 0 leads off their website and 0 applications.
None.
They launch a new website and all of a sudden, oh look, new web leads and a ton of applications, which is really what their focus was. Like,
yeah, 11 a day.
11 a day compared to 0 a day, or 0 a year. Like it's
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, websites don't matter at all.
11 times more in a day than they did in a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal what a website can do, but it takes that mental shift of allowing it to happen essentially. And it is like, well, yeah, I've been walking for fine. I could get you talking about that. Let's use the car analogy. You can't teleport, but you could walk.
Could walk.
You could walk, and you will get there. But that doesn't mean there's not easier ways to do it. You could also get a faster car. You could also get a super train. Like there's a lot of other things to do. And one of the challenges I think a lot of these contractors are, and some people are listening, they're probably skeptical. They're probably still thinking like somebody told me to listen to this podcast, or they heard the one, maybe they liked the M&A one we had the other day. And they're like, but they're not really sold that it really matters to them. And they don't know because they've never really gotten leads off their website because they haven't been through some of the things we're going to talk about today. They're still experiencing and doing some of the mistakes that we see. But it's kind of this leap of faith. And I know the client you said that kind of made the jump. They kind of just trusted you because you're their fractional CMO, and they're kind of like, all right, Aaron, fine, do it.
We don't believe it, but we'll see.
Yeah. And
that's okay. Well, I deal with that a lot. Like I actually deal with that quite a bit. Like, we don't believe it, but prove us wrong.
Oh, okay. and it's hard to track. I mean, when you get a phone call, somebody calls in the main number. Where did it come from? Did it come from your trucks, your job sites? Somebody saw a hard hat, billboard, phone book, website.
You call call rail numbers and everything else.
Correct.
For all your different,
but most contractors, if they're not focused on building a website and digital presence, they don't have all that. They don't have specialized numbers for all that track. So they're essentially having somebody call in and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about a project," and they have no idea where it came from. And the answer is it probably came from a lot of different things, but we know the website is a big part of that. If they saw your trucks, they saw your job banner at a job site, they looked you up. They looked you up in a phone book. What do? They go to the website and validate you. Yeah, that's why the website sells. Boy, golly. Yeah, I'm intentionally using the phone book analogy because there's still people out there using it.
I would say this. I've used that phone book analogy a lot. I would say not having a really strong web presence in today's digital world is like not having your ad in the yellow pages in 1990. Like you would be a damn fool. That's how people found you. That's how people learned about you. That's how people engaged with you.
Yeah. I was at an event the other day and I came across kind of a naysayer recently, and they weren't in construction. They were adjacent. More of a maintenance facilities person, and they was like, you do construction marketing. I was like, yeah, and he's like, what do you do? And I was explaining, he's like, what does that even matter? What does the website matter? And so I was like, well, look, let's explain him all that stuff. And he's like, I just don't get it. I don't live in that world. I'm like, look, do you still use hand tools at work? He's like, of course not. I'm like, you use power tools. I said, we can still build buildings. We built the pyramids. We built Rome with hand tools. You can do it. And those are great buildings that have really lasted better than some of the things we're doing today. But it doesn't mean it's the best way to do it. So your buyers have evolved from the phone book, and then now essentially have the digital phone book of the website. So there's kind of two sides of this thing with the website. Is you have the people that know who you are, have run across you, and they're going to go look you up. And then we have the search side, the people that don't know who you are, and they're looking for a provider. And they're going through search, whether that's AI
You've
search
got
or
foreign
Google.
actors that are in foreign countries that are about to spend $600 million on a project in your area, and they don't have relationships with anybody.
100%.
And they're looking and they're building their list.
Yeah, it's amazing how that you have people. You made a comment I think it was on the podcast that we talked about. A potential applicant was moving from Atlanta to Dallas Fort Worth. And was on the website. Like, they don't know the market.
Right. And for all of y'all listening out there, I mean, again, marketers, hush. We're not talking to y'all. Y'all know all this. But for all of you construction folks out there listening and leading companies, this stuff, we're not guessing. Like, we have analytics. We have Google Analytics and all other kind of tools plugged in, Search Console, everything under the sun. that is determining how people come to your website, referral
Yeah.
sites, this and that, and blah, 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 right? Like none of this is like we're just guessing. We know, this person did a search of relocating from
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia to DFW, and I'm looking for top rated electrical contractors in
Yeah.
DFW. What's
Well,
going to come up?
and besides that research, some of the research we've done ourselves. That's what started our whole construction SEO report. Was just, does anyone care about SEO? Because it was kind of like you and I were essentially just having one of our Thursday morning conversations, and it was like, okay, we're tired of having this conversation. We need proof, and let's go look. Let's look at the big guys. We went to the NR 400,
And they are spending a fortune on
correct?
SEO and their website. So I would
Yeah,
ask any of the naysayers out there, if they're already just ginormous, you would think them of all people would
yeah.
have the mentality of we don't need it, we're huge.
Well,
But
yeah, they've
they
got the name recognition. They can easily they could easily stop marketing, and for the next few years, they'll actually be pretty good because of the brand they built. It will fall off.
but why are they doing it? Because
Correct.
it's effective. Like we were talking pre-show before we started
Yeah.
recording is, you know, big companies, really large companies have analysis and
Yeah.
folks on staff that literally just look at the numbers. And when it comes back as a net positive to spend that money and to have that presence, then that's why they do it, because it's a net positive. So,
Yeah.
we'll touch on mentality and we'll get down the list so we don't go too long. And,
Yeah.
on the mentality of this, if I can reframe an executive's mindset, which I often do in executive leadership teams, to say, okay, you're already hiring us as a fractional CMO to do many, many other things outside of
Yeah.
websites. I know that's what we talk about a lot in SEO and everything else, but we do strategy, we do training on the internal staff with their marketing coordinators,
Hmm.
we manage messaging, we manage all kinds of stuff. I mean, from top to bottom, technology integration, whatever it may be. But you're already paying us, right?
Yeah.
So if you, I always reframe it like this. If you're wanting to be an excellent company, right? Because I'm looking at your VTOs and I'm looking at your 3-year plans and everything
Hmm.
else, and you've got these massive growth initiatives. This is what you want to do. You want to hire a lot more people. You want to grow. You want to grow. You want to grow. And so you're trying to run as big and as profitable as a company as you can. And I would just say, like, will it hurt? Will it
Yeah.
hurt you to be very, very visible
Yeah.
online? Is it going to hurt you?
Yeah.
No.
That never.
It's
Well,
never going to hurt you
very,
to be.
very, very rare cases that it's going to hurt, but very much so.
I can't even think of a scenario where being highly visible is going to hurt a company.
I really.
Now,
Yeah.
I could list untold
Yeah.
amounts of issues where not being visible will hurt you.
Oh yeah. It,
So, I
I mean,
mean,
it's totally. And this is how I generally frame with people. We talk all the time. Construction is about relationships. We're not doubting that. But relationships do start and get nurtured through websites. So, but here's the other thing. Think about how you buy. Most people construction truck guys. Okay, let's go with the general. They're either Chevy, Ford, or Dodge, maybe a Toyota or Nissan. But they pretty much know what brand they're going to buy their next truck, right?
yeah.
Did they just show up to the dealer and buy the truck, shake the hand, and walk out the door? No,
They
they're going to
test
research.
and
They're going to go on website and
they're
buy
going to
it
look at they're going
because
to
they're
look at
buying a 50, 100, even $100,000 truck. It's a big expense.
mhm.
So if you know what brand you're going to buy, you're going to still go research. You probably know the dealer. You might even know the salesperson you're going to buy it from because you have that
In
relationship.
my
But you,
off-road vehicle, I purchased my Ranger because they're smaller wheelbase and
yeah,
you can do a lot of modifications to them, and they're very comparable to the Tacomas and the Jeeps, right?
yeah,
But in my research, I had a Jeep Gladiator. Seats were hard as a rock. The thing was unbelievably capable off-road.
yeah,
But when I drove 4.5 hours to my land in Oklahoma, my back was killing me. So
yep,
I was looking at Ford, Chevy, Jeep,
yep,
all of it, right? And over and over and over, just reading forum after forum and researching and everything else. Engines are comparable, gas mileage is comparable. You could argue Toyota is going to be a little more reliable, whatever. But the one thing everybody said is the Ranger has the most comfortable seats and the most leg room and the smoothest drive.
Yeah.
And I was like, my old ass doing 4.5 hours and then an hour up a mountainside, getting shoved around and moved around. I want those seats. So anyways, long story short, a lot of research went into that, but I'm buying a truck, right? It's a truck.
Well, yeah. So, you're buying, it's a big purchase too, but the same process happens with your buyers because they're in their multi-million dollar projects. Like
I've got a perfect example. I didn't mean to interrupt. I got a perfect before it loses my mind here. I was contacted by my client up in Minneapolis this week. They were shortlisted down to number 2 on a $13 million contract.
It's a good contract for them.
They lost it. Okay. They did win a pretty good one, like a $5 million one in the same week. So they were excited about that one. But the $13 million one, they lost. And this is no joke. Literally, the customer told me, and he just had his head in his hand. He said, this is not y'all's problem. Y'all haven't had the account long enough. But when we went and really looked at our website, and what they told us is that when they were comparing the different companies that they were, considering, we just didn't have enough proof on our website on the commercial end to handle those types of projects.
Yep. They look, 100%.
Literally, they lost a $13 million contract because of their website. So I don't want to hear it.
I've seen it.
You're losing business. Trust me.
So because a lot of my clients, we've used, tools like lead forensics to see who's on our website. I've seen multiple times years ago, and even in the last few months, where selection committees are going to their website while they're essentially deliberating. And you can tell because it pings where they're at. It's showing that you don't necessarily who, but somebody because they say in the bid, we're going to be meeting on this day or this time or whatever, and making decisions. And they're trying to shortlist people, and they're pulling out their phones or going on their laptops, and they're going to the contractors' websites.
That's right.
And it was really interesting. One of them we found recently. One of my newer clients as well as a general contractor, and they were going and looking at it's a multifamily historical renovation, and you could see those are the pages they were spending like 10, 20 minutes on.
In real time, guys, we see it.
Correct. They're really, so you got to imagine what they're doing on the selection committee. I mean, these people, they know who they are. They've got a bid in front of them. For whatever reason, there's something missing in the bid that they're going to the websites and they're arguing this. They're essentially pulling up the website and saying, like, this is what they do. This is what they don't do. And, like, you don't know exactly what they're saying, but you know they're going to the website. So, I mean, you're talking bottom of the funnel. I mean, you're at proposal at the door. You're just essentially waiting.
I guess the guy that we're talking about said, if you just want to race to the bottom and just, get a bunch of scabby leads. And I'm like, no.
Kind of the opposite.
Kind of the opposite.
It's quite the opposite.
And so, like, in another scenario with another client, they had done some data center work, right? That wasn't what they were known for. They're more healthcare and stuff like that, healthcare facilities, but they've done data center work. There's a large data center that's coming to town. They got a lead through their website from the group putting it together that just stated, your location's good, time and business is good, your what we see about you is good, but can you elaborate more on any type of data center work? Because we're literally in the lead form from the email from the website said, because we're not seeing anything related to that. Can you elaborate on if you guys have that experience? Well, they went into panic mode. They're like, we got to get data center information. I mean, we've done several and we got to get this up here. And I'm just like, exactly. Like it wasn't living on that. Now they're fortunate enough that lead actually was courteous enough to send that lead form in and say, we're wanting to give you a chance, but we really need to know your background in data centers, because it wasn't living on their website.
I've got two other clients looking at data centers too. Do we need, one of them's got some experience and the other one has none. And we're trying to, how do we start positioning for all that? And one of it, they're talking about potentially building on a separate business unit just for data centers because it kind of crosses over multiple of the current business units.
Sure.
So
So, I mean,
it's huge. But that's,
the mentality's got to get there, guys.
correct.
It is super, super important. And, when you just have a placeholder, just have a brochure, nobody's touching it. That's what this other client had that had 0 zeros, and now are getting lots of leads and applicants.
Yeah.
They just had a placeholder up. It was built, which we're going to talk about next. It was built on Squarespace. Yeah. Okay. So the next, so the number one reason is mentality.
Correct.
We've got to change the mentality. It's vitally important. People below 40 years old are just flat doing their research and looking at social proofing and looking at a whole host of stuff. They're not your mom and dad that used to just say, well, just do business with Bob because that's who we do business with. That's just not how they think anymore.
And guys, Gartner's put out a stat for over a decade now that says 95% of business-to-business referrals will check you out on your website. Literally. It's been very consistent for 10 years. It might be 92%, it might be 97%.
It's even more now.
Correct. And it's even more younger.
Decision makers are in their 40s. They're starting to be the leaders of companies. They're starting to be CEOs.
Yeah.
They just do things differently than us silver-haired guys. And you've got to change your mindset.
And the other big thing about websites, and I mentioned there's kind of two main ways people access your website. They're either been referred or they've seen your trucks, your job site signs, or they're going through search. You have to think of your website as like the hub of the wheel. Everything feeds to your website. Because on your job site, on your trucks, you put your website address, right? And then it pushes back out. So that's why it's so important. It is that big credibility check that people have. They go to your website and like, oh, look, they look legit. It doesn't matter if you're buying a truck, health insurance, you're buying a TV, you're buying a dress, whatever. Like, people look it up online. Like, it's just the way the world is. We don't use hand tools.
Dominance that they're not thinking about. So, like, if you've got a strong website with lots of content that people are backlinking to and citing and citations and everything else, if somebody just goes in and researches just your brand name, like AltCMO, like y'all can do it. Like, sit down at Google and type in AltCMO. We brand dominate the first few pages of Google with our podcasts, with our appearances on other podcasts, with our content, with the our research papers and everything else. In the mind of our customer, if they're looking at us and just going, hey, I'll figure out what this AltCMO company is all about. Well, we just gave them a plethora of information to look at and say, well, these guys are obviously super legit at what they do.
Yeah.
So there's brand dominance as well. So that's number one. Number two, like we talked, the one that was getting a bunch of goose eggs, everything was built on Squarespace. We see this all the time. Companies throw up a little Wix page or a Squarespace page. Yeah. It's a placeholder. They act kind of wonky,
I think that's the key word is it's a placeholder. And like, look, when we started AltCMO, we had a Squarespace website at first, and we quickly replaced it. Correct. We quickly replaced it within a month or two because it was a placeholder. It's good for those
it's a bridge.
Chuck in a truck. Like, it's a one-man company. It works for them. Besides it, just you're very template. You can't do much, but there's also severely hamper your any search. You can't really do anything because it's just the way they're built.
You're just not going to rank well.
Correct. Wix was essentially built that every website on Wix is attached to the main Wix website. So if you search anything that's there, it's actually helping Wix, not you.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's just the way they're built.
You're in a truck and you just need to, hey, this is what we do and here's our contact information.
Well, that's fine. Or you split off a company and you need to have a website because you've got a client you take with you. That's where that's good for. It gets you up and running, get some money in, and then but it's got to be considered a placeholder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously what you build on, how you build it, the performance of the site, the security of the site, all of that matters. And we see that in the construction world, sites haven't been updated. They're on Wix and Squarespace and stuff like that. They're just a placeholder. They haven't been updated in years. Last blog post was, 2013, stuff like that. I mean, you should actually take your site down and not have one versus have one that's been sitting there, and the last blog post was 2013, because it makes you look lazy or out of business or like you don't
Yeah.
care or
So
something, right?
and just for reference, we did look this up. We should, it's part of our
Everything
research.
we're talking about, guys, is
Yeah,
backed by
we've
data.
and we've been and some of this is what you're saying is that, but we research. There's an ENR 400 company that has their last post, is ironically says latest news is 3,206 days from when we looked it up a couple months ago. That's
That's
nine
almost 10
years. We're
years.
pushing 10 years now. Yes. So
That's to me,
it's
just take your website
correct.
down.
Yeah.
Don't even have
It's
one.
if you're looking at, imagine you're joint venturing with that company.
Mm-mm.
Do you want to work with them?
No,
No.
no.
That's what the importance of the website. That single post or lack of post. If I'm going there, whether I'm going to buy from them, work for them, or joint venture with them, it raises a lot of red flags. Does this company give a shit about the future?
That's right. Yeah, are they
So
in it? Are they in it to win it? So again, I go back, if we're going to jump back up to number one, the mentality, I go back
yeah,
to, there's no harm in doing all the things we're saying. There's only a net positive, but there is harm and a net negative if you don't.
well,
So, just
well, let's address one thing. I think some people also might think, well, the net harm might be I have to spend 100 grand on a website. You can get a professional website for 5, 10 grand.
yeah, call us. We'll do it.
We'll do it. There's other people who do it. I mean, people do it cheaper, but it's to get a
But you'll
good
have to
website.
teach them a lot. They won't know
Yeah,
what we know.
that's the benefit of using us. We can teach you how to do a website and how to do a construction
Well,
website versus the
construction
other way around.
websites. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah.
But it's that's one thing. And look, we go back to the whole Wix websites. We researched the top 400 companies. This hasn't actually come out yet. None of them are using Wix or Squarespace. In our initial research, we found a few, but we found out our research was actually picking up an old domain for them, and they've corrected domains, and we found out that the vast majority of them are using WordPress. Like, in
Yeah.
fact, it's I just had it up. 64% of them are using WordPress. And the only ones that are kind of coming up behind that are the newer one called Sitecore, but that's built for enterprise companies. That's really probably who's not on this website or on our podcast.
Sure.
But yeah, 43 of the 400 contractors are using Sitecore versus 256 of the 400 are using WordPress. And there were about 10% that we still are unknown. It's cloudy, or they're using our research is pulling up multiple. For whatever reason, they've got trails of different ones going. So we're not hacking them to go find out. So we're trying to be very passive. But for the most part, it's very clear WordPress is the option for the NR 400, which I would guess as we trickle down, it's probably a higher percentage of the.
It's just the go-to.
It's the go-to across the internet. So
Yep. No, number 4, the me-focused messaging. We walk all of our customers when we're doing a website redesign or really doing anything for them. We create a story brand session, and it's a really cool session. We're story brand certified agency, but we want to remove the we're awesome, bang the bell, how great we are, and center the messaging on the end reader. We want to look at their pains, their villains, the things that that they deal with, and then we want to make sure that our messaging shows the end user that we empathize with them, we understand their situations, we understand what they're up against, but that we have the authority to be their go-to. So we want to really step back and change the mindset of us, we're the best, look at us, we do, to we know you deal with, and we have a solution for this. We know this can be a problem, and this is how we mitigate this. We want to speak to the end user and show them that we understand their particular challenges, and we understand what they're up against. And we've put a lot of thought as a company into resolving those issues so that they arise at a much lower rate than our competitors.
Yeah, and we did a whole episode. You go back to episode 9. We spent the entire episode talking about story brand. And if you guys, as you're listening to this, think of those commercials that you hear. They're like, "Oh, they get me." Like the Granger radio commercials are brilliant at this. They totally understand people that need parts, that run a facility, run a construction company, and they're all built tough, and like they get it. I guarantee you, somebody at Granger went through the StoryBrand process.
Yeah,
And
Home Depot, how doers get
correct,
more done.
correct. They all understand how to
That's
focus
all
this
about
on you.
you, the person
Correct,
walking in there shopping, the
correct.
doer, how you get
Yeah,
things done, right? Like, you know, we talked about Dave Ramsey, financial peace. Like, if you're broke and in debt, financial peace is just probably getting $1 in the bank and not having
yeah,
debt. If you're a gazillionaire, financial peace is probably how to set up your trusts and all of
yeah,
your assets and everything so that the government doesn't, rape your kids whenever you die and
yep.
all this other stuff, right? So financial peace is but
It's perfect.
it's focused on the end user, right?
100%. Yeah. So
That's what we want to do. We see it time and time again. It's just, we've been in business 40 years. We're the best. We've won
yeah,
this, and all of that's important. You get an opportunity to ring your bell a little bit, but messaging should be, what are you dealing with?
yeah,
How do we solve it?
yeah. No, we're going to go on the next couple are kind of just two pieces together. We address really kind of the dated news, and we saw this even with the bigger companies. The average
Hmm.
for the large, the ENR 400 companies, the average date of the oldest post, news or blog post, is 167 days. That's nearly 6 months that they haven't had any news. And you figure a company that big has got news, and the news
Yep.
can be something simple: project milestones, charity events, new hires,
Awards
new
won.
awards, like.
Projects finished.
Correct. These are all really good things. What we couldn't verify, because it's generally not data, is like, did they add a project or not? But we really just went and looked at news and blog posts because they're dated. There are a few that don't have dates, but for the most part, we found the ones that do. And that's where we found the one that was nearly 10 years old. But it's also amazing. I mean, and I want to dovetail this one in is there's a lot of websites we found out that, from 50 of them in particular, don't have any way to push out news. There's no
Right.
news page.
There's
There's
no
no
blog.
blog page.
Yeah.
There's no thought leadership.
Mm-mm.
And so what happens if there's no thought leadership in the construction? You're a commodity.
You're a
And this
commodity.
is why we have a problem with low bid in this industry. It all starts with we're me focused with our messaging, and we don't ever educate our customers. So the only thing we have together is we can do the work. We are
Hmm.
qualified. And that's as far as we go.
Yeah, it'd be like if you were looking for an attorney. An attorney, especially like, let's say something normal, family or like just, small civil,
Yeah.
whatever. You're going to go through 1,000 attorney websites that just, I'm board certified. I've won $3 billion in this and
Yeah.
I've done this and that, right? But
Yeah.
then you land on the attorney website that's like, is this keeping you up at night? Right? Like, are you nervous?
Yep.
Does this have you scared? Are you worried about losing assets or your children in a
Yeah.
custody battle or just whatever? And they're very, very focused on your feelings, your understanding, your this and that.
Yep.
That's the one that you're going to connect with the most because it's like, oh, these guys get me. Well,
Yep.
construction is the same way. When you identify common problems and all of that, that is industry standard, and you then show how you mitigate those
Yep.
dangers, you're now connecting in a neuro way
Hmm.
that it's hard for the brain to say no to. Talking about the updates and this and that, one thing that we do know now is the search engines and the AI engines, they're looking for topical authority now and not
Yep.
keywords. We talked on that in another episode, but it's important about updating the website. When
Yeah.
you don't update your website regularly, it's a placeholder. Google crawled it 4 times in a row, nothing changed. So then they lower their frequency of crawl. They
Hmm.
kind of just say, these people, we're just going to put them over here in this little corner
Yep.
because I got Johnny, Billy, and Bob over here that are writing all kinds of amazing top authority
Hmm.
content. They've become the authority on it. So now you could have 50 blog articles talking about very specific technical stuff related to, let's say, plumbing,
Yeah.
right? Now, somebody may not have searched for that article, and that article may never even get read. But what's happening is the engines are saying this company is an authority on this
Yeah.
topic. So we
Talk
feel
to them.
safe if
Hmm.
somebody's looking for a plumbing company. We feel safe to post up ABC Plumbing because, my God, they're just authorities on the subject.
Well,
And now
guys,
you've leapfrogged over everybody that just has a home, about, services, and contact page. You're just
yep,
way, way above them in visibility. And what harm can that do?
yeah. No,
None.
and it's guys, we practice what we preach. I mean, our own blog posts with our small company, our not our website, we post at least one or two blogs a week. Ryan and I usually both post a blog every week. We've posted, I think, 5 pieces of news in the last month. Like it's us on other
Plus
podcasts.
these.
Yeah, it's us announcing this podcast. We don't post every even podcast on our website right now. It's come with a new one. But just some of the research we're doing and some of the events we're doing, and like it's all these things that like we're telling the search engines and AI we are current, we are and we are topical, but also like come back and visit us. That's basically what we're telling all these spiders.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it moves right into number 7. There's no thought leadership. So
Yeah, it's huge.
if I go into, let's just use general contractors as an example, and I just pull up 10 random general contractor websites in Dallas, okay? They're all going to say and look the same, most
Hmm.
of them,
Yep.
all of them. And, you know, number one, they're saying and looking the same, so there's no differentiator. But the ones, it's a small minority that does it, but the ones that come up just front and center, tops, constantly, and you're just
Yeah.
like, geez, man, what are these guys doing? Like, I can't type in anything related to plumbing without them coming up. What in the world?
Yeah.
Well, typically, if you look at it, there's a lot of thought leadership, technical,
Mm.
investigative content, which we have a lot of tools out there, guys, to help you spend minimal time but get
Yep.
really high quality content that's thought leadership coming directly from you with our help, right? But now you've got that company that is creating thought leadership content, showing themselves as topical authority. And man, I mean, your competitors are going to have a very tough time keeping up with you.
Yeah.
And that's just when you see the frustration of competitors that we talk to. They're just like, I go sit into offices of brand new clients.
Yeah.
One thing I hear constantly from leadership is, what in the heck is ABC Plumbing doing, man? Like, good grief. They are just everywhere online. Like, what are we doing wrong? Like,
Yeah.
I can't type in anything related to plumbing without them coming up. Well, they're doing what we do. So hire
Well,
us.
it was actually I did that
We'll,
exercise with one of my
we'll do
great
that for you.
yeah, I did that exact exercise with one of my clients about a month ago because they're roofing siding and there's a couple companies that are just that beat them in residential in particular. And my client focuses a little bit more on commercial, but we want to keep the residential kind of flowing. Well, two to the three we researched the big, the other bigger players in the market. Two of them are just outspending them 10 to 1 on. I mean, they're spending 100 grand a month in
And
Google
at that
Ads.
point, you have to wonder, is the spend worth it?
Correct.
Like,
Oh,
is that
I'm really curious about that. And then the other one was doing exactly what we've been talking about in all of our podcasts. Is they're putting out a ton of content,
a ton?
and they're not spending as much. They're spending, I think it was around 5,000 a month, but they're putting out at least two blog posts a week. Heavily involved in social media. They're putting out YouTube video. Like they're
And
doing all
probably
the things.
quality content. They're
I
not
I
just sitting
skimmed a
down and
lot of
pumping
it.
out 90,
Correct.
90
Correct.
chat GPT blogs.
It didn't, yeah, it didn't read as if it was all AI driven. It looked like they had in-house production or some type of agency working with them like us. So,
Mhm.
so it's kind of to the client, red pill, blue pill. Which one what path you want to go? I mean, do you want to spend your way there, or do and we need a little bit of both. Right now, we're spending like $1,000 a month in Google Ads.
So in spending, guys, the way you want to look at spending is like a car. Again, you
Yeah,
go and you put gas in the car and it drives. But as soon as
yeah,
it's on empty, if you don't put more money in it, the car
yep,
stops on the side of the road.
yep,
Whereas the longer way is putting a brick down, putting some mortar down, putting a brick down,
yep,
putting some mortar down. You're literally building something that's
yeah,
more permanent.
and sometimes we will do both. I'll
And
definitely
that's
do is
organic, by the way. So
well, yeah. So we'll do is we'll spend our money in the front end while we're building that building,
we'll
that
prime the
brick by
pump
brick
with money.
build, and then you start backing off
You
the
back off the
spend.
spend, and now you're just
Correct.
receiving nothing but good quality
Correct.
organic traffic. Which, by the way, all the research points, people absolutely trust organic search results way more than they do sponsored ads. They
Yeah.
will click ads, and ads do work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get the name out there. But from a trust factor, people like the top organic posts. So
Well,
just throwing that out
well,
there.
quick side note. Google's made a small update. They no longer call their ads ads. They call them
Sponsored.
sponsored.
Yep.
It's good. It's like really, we all know what it is.
We
I
know
mean,
how
it's
that
pretty.
is.
So it
But that
just
goes
kind of
back to the neuromarketing side of
yeah,
things. When you study the brain and how it
yeah.
operates, just a change of word can help
Well,
build more trust.
yeah. Let's jump to that next one. We were talking about thought
Yep.
leadership and posting stuff. The other thing is just not using things that are off page, specifically social media. You know, it's one of the things. It gets really easy to do. You're focused on the projects, you focus on the putting out the fires. You kind of oh, we need to go post stuff on social media. So we don't just go through the motions. We don't need a happy Labor Day, a happy Thanksgiving post. We want to push some of the thought leadership. We want to see project milestones. We want to see community events. We want to see we want to see action shots from the field. That's what
Mm-hmm.
people really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fun little term. It's safe to use called construction porn, and it's generally equipment. It's the big heavy machinery. People out there go to Reddit. There's a whole
Just
thread on
spell it
construction
right
porn. Yes,
before you
please
say
spell
it.
it right. Um, and make sure you put construction on it. And there's other ones. There's tactical porn for SWAT team members, and those kind of
Mm-hmm.
things. It's a kind of a fun little term out there, but that's what people really want. And there's
Mm-hmm.
there's a marketing firm in our space that kind of gets 200-300 likes on LinkedIn for just posting pictures of heavy machinery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're amazing photos of really cool machines. But
Yeah.
that's what he's built his brand around, and it launched other side businesses from it. So we need to post things on social media. And it was funny, the comment that kind of spurred this topic. Yeah, I went and looked up their company website. Yeah, they had one social post in the last 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, take your
But,
social down.
yeah, might as well not have anything
Might as
at
well
that
not
point.
have it. Yeah.
And
Like even for us, being a company that's only in our second year, you get a lot that happens in the first year. You got to
yeah,
build your team out. You've got to work the bugs out. You've got to get, you're getting an influx of new clients, and you got to, so you kind of ignore yourself a little bit. So, I get that. So like we just recently set up a Facebook page. We didn't have one until
yeah,
just recently. And it we're still figuring out our Facebook strategy. So if you were to go to it right now, you'd be like, well, these guys don't have their Facebook page up. We've got it up. We're building out our
yeah.
strategy because we want to be very
Well,
deliberate in how we use Facebook. But yes, taking stuff outside of the website, pointing back in. I'll give you a great example. One of my clients just won the Inc. 5000, and it's a big deal for them,
yeah,
right?
huge.
Inc. 5000 fastest growing contractors in America, and so that wasn't even on the radar. I literally built out a list of all of the different awards that could be available to them that they could potentially win or
Yeah,
be in the running. We put a calendar schedule on when their voting opened, when their nominations open, and all that. And Inc. 5000 just happened to be one of the first ones. We won it. And what happened? Once they were the winners, Inc. 5000 posted out the winners. That's a huge backlink back to the customer.
yeah,
But then all the aggregates grabbed it. So when
yep,
we were in our L10 on this Tuesday, and one of the things that we track are backlinks. That's one of
yeah,
the metrics in our L10 that we track. They jumped, but now this company had virtually zero backlinks when we started with them.
hmm
And we were doing good because we got up to a few hundred, right? Like over the last 6 months, we were just,
yeah,
and these are quality backlinks. This isn't buying backlink spam, right?
yeah,
Well, I went in on Tuesday to pull up the backlink checker, and we had doubled our backlinks.
yeah,
We went from like 230 to almost 500, and I was like, "Oh, in 1 week,
yeah,
oh, okay, Inc. 5000." Like
yeah. No, and
huge.
I experienced it years ago when I was working in house. We got Inc. 5000. Actually, my first week, I was like, "All right, send out the press release." I'm like, "Wait,
Yeah,
what
man.
just happened?" But it was interesting. Is we also got a lot of sub lists. Like the Inc. 5000 was all 5,000 companies, and then what came out was like we found a list of here's all the Louisiana companies, and there was a list of all the New Orleans companies, and here's all the list of these construction companies in New Orleans, and like it was interesting to see kind of all the subsets of it. And that's how we kind of positioned as we even pushed out our own press releases. Well, the business publication, here's all the New Orleans companies that were listed amongst. So that way we're more likely to get picked. And a few of them are even clients. So it was interesting to see how all that built, but it's also just a great badge, especially if you continue to get it year over year, because it's actually a 3-year growth award. So it's not a 1-year spike, which can happen in construction. It's that 3-year. And that's why construction companies really like the Inc. 5000, because it's not just one giant project that spiked everything. So
and now they got a big beautiful trophy right in the front.
Yeah,
It's great. It's
yeah.
awesome. But
So
I mean, to double the backlinks like that, and I mean it'll continue because they just won. Like it's gonna continue to grow and provide. What does that do? Backlinks are a big portion of the Google algorithm. It means that you're important because important people are speaking about you, and so they're again just a net positive on your visibility. So, all right, lack of technical SEO. Lack of technical SEO is, I think, the reason we put this on here is a couple of things. What we see is some of you guys out there, y'all are believers. You have paid money. You have been giving an SEO firm thousands of dollars every month. And you might get to that point where it's like, man, I spent the money, it didn't work, and you quit or whatever. When we initially talk and we run audits, we realize just the very basic 101 of technical SEO on the website has not been done. And this has been in the hands of an SEO team for sometimes years.
Yeah.
And there is no on-page technical SEO. Core Web Vitals don't score well. Speed is bad. There's no meta descriptions. Images don't have alt image text and tags in them. There's not a good schema markup. I mean, it's almost criminal in a weird way. Like it is almost somewhat criminal if you have been paying an SEO firm and all that stuff's not done. This is a plug for us. If you have been paying an SEO firm and you're not getting visibility, call us for free. We'll run audits. We'll see what's going on. We have no problem doing that for you. We can send out a very, very, very comprehensive report. You don't have to hire us. You can take that to your SEO team and say, what the heck? Why is this not done? Right? It gives you a point of reference to then go and argue, right? But we see it almost entirely 100%.
I think there's been one time out of the dozens I've reviewed that they were doing well. Legit. And I'm like, keep that firm.
Keep that firm.
Once.
Yeah. No reason.
Maybe I think between us we probably easily reviewed over 100 companies in the last year.
Yeah.
Like just it's bad. Guys, think about this in your world of construction. You've showed up to a job site, taken over another contractor's work, or done renovations. You're like, well, that's technically code, but there's no way in hell I would have done it that way.
No,
it's not right. That's what we're talking here. It's technically you're on the web
over all of this stuff. Like
correct.
They didn't do this. I mean,
correct. Or you've gotten plans from engineers. You're like, there's a lot of field fixes here, and there's a lot of band-aids we got to do. That's what we're talking about. Is that kind of crap? Like just, and it's not hard. The challenge is it's very transparent. We can run a very easy, some not easy, but some tests that they don't need to know about, and it's very obvious what it is because it's all public code. It's very transparent. The challenge is you're not the expert at SEO, so you don't know. So it's kind of like your client walking through a building versus a building inspector walking through a building.
Correct.
They're looking at things very different. Like the client's going to, oh look, the paint looks good
really
here.
Pretty.
It's chipped here. They can see a chipped paint. They're not going to see the mechanical thing all the mechanical devices are upside down. It's just things like that because they're not trained for that. We don't expect you to be trained for that, but there are resources like us that we can at least audit them and say, hey, look, they're doing a good job, they're doing a bad job, and here's your options. So
yeah.
So
and again, we'll do it, and no pressure to hire
us.
Just, we want to help. So there's that.
Well, and that's the whole reason why we even started doing SEO. It was such a big part of our fractional business that our clients weren't getting it. We started having to take it over, so we built out an SEO team. That was not our vision when we started this company 2 years ago. It was we kind of actually want to stay out of SEO, but it was such an important aspect of their companies or our clients' companies. Like we have to do this, and that's why we got into SEO. So it's weird. That's how much we talk. I mean, I don't know, we're
Yeah.
over a dozen episodes in, and we talk a lot about SEO because it's that important in this industry.
Yeah. Last number 10. I know we've got down here. I'm gonna make a 10 and a 10A. We've got here, the companies are not claiming their Google business listing. And I'm
Yeah,
working with 3 clients right now who somebody set one up years ago. They didn't even know that there was one existed. They don't know
yeah,
anything about it. They can't even get logged in. Our technical team is requesting ownership of that as we speak so that we can
yeah,
take back ownership of that. But that's a central nervous system too of the biggest search engine in the world. The more they see that you're active
yeah,
on there, keeping posts updated, keeping pictures updated, utilizing the
yeah,
tools that they give you, it's just one more kudos to them that says this company's trying, right?
yeah,
And you've got ownership, and then you can request your Google reviews. We could do a whole episode about that and why those are important and everything else. They're not just important for just reviews; they're important for a whole lot of reasons, and
yeah.
they're heavily weighted in the SEO factor. And then the 10A that we want to talk about, which should probably be number one above mentality or right there with mentality, is you may not sell a building off of your website, although we may try,
I think we should try.
but the sheer power that an amazing website with high visibility has on your talent acquisition cannot be understated.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what you can do to reduce. I would venture to say most of my clients can now reduce their recruiting costs way more than what our firm costs. Just that
Oh, yeah.
one area.
Yeah.
From recruiter fees to job boards and everything else, because of the talent that we're driving through their website that's going direct and applying with them. They can now offset our cost, get people faster.
Yeah.
It's a better candidate because they went direct and they're
Hmm.
interested in your company,
Yeah.
and it's an easier hire than ZipRecruiter or
So,
Indeed, where everybody's just applying at everything and everything and everything. This
yeah.
person chose you, they saw your site, and they applied.
So I guess the bonus to our top 10 would be, don't skip the career page.
Man, and
It's
the
there. We've talked a lot of companies. It's the home, about, projects, contact. There's no careers. I
but
think you
even
need
if there
careers.
is, like, even if you can have a careers page on there. So the one
Yeah, you
that
can.
was getting goose eggs, they had a job career page. They weren't getting any applicants because they weren't visible. When somebody
Yeah.
searched for what they did, they weren't coming up. So then you redo their website, you make it beautiful, you make it huge, you make it corporate, you put tons of content, the layout's
Yeah.
great, all of that stuff, great imagery, great graphics design, lots of projects. I mean, a lot of time and effort went into it. Now all of a sudden, they're just like, well, we go kill that ad that we're running on Indeed. We
Yeah.
don't need that anymore. We've
Yeah.
got enough coming through the website.
Well, if they're getting 10 applicants a day, I mean,
Averaging 11.
an internal recruiter wouldn't even do that. I mean, God,
No. And they're
that's a
and they're
team.
and they're and they're legit because
Yeah.
it's somebody researching first. And again, we have access to like a lot of the search terms. And I'll finish with this. Searching is different now. People are going to ChatGPT, and a search might look like this. I'm a journeyman electrician. I've got 13 years experience. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. My wife is transferring to Dallas. I'm looking to find a new
Hmm.
career with a new commercial electrical contractor in Dallas. I want them to have a minimum of 100 employees, be, this certification and this safety record and all this other stuff. And they're literally, the search prompt is a paragraph
Yes.
because they're being as specific as possible. And then they'll throw in, must have data center experience because that's what I'm interested in,
Yep.
this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, who comes up? The website that has all of that
Yeah.
topical authority about all of that.
Yeah. No, and
And now
it's
you get that really killer applicant that's hot, ready to interview, and ready to go.
yeah, and that's one of the big differences between Google search versus AI search is a typical Google search is 3 or 4 words. The typical AI search is I think 17 words, and I
It's
think
a
it's even just grow,
conversation.
and it's growing. And I think that number is very dated as people are getting more. They're not just using AI as a search tool; they're using it as a personal assistant now. So
Yes.
they are putting in a paragraph or two.
Go
I mean,
find me. And
yeah,
I need this, 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 this,
correct.
this, and this, and this, and this. The one
Yes,
it finds is the one that has that information and all
yeah,
that topical authority. And
yep,
now you've got a true candidate that found you, liked
yep,
you, and wants to go to work for you.
yep. No, and my first thought was when our friend who commented things with us was like, "Oh yeah, call me back in 2 years with all those flimsy web leads." And my first thought was, "Call me back in 2 years when AI has killed your business, because you're going to be
Right,
out of business in 2 years." So
right.
because if you don't care about your website today and SEO today, you're not going to be able to catch up to AI in 2 years and
No.
be found on AI search. And
Hmm.
AI search in 2 years could easily be 20, 30% of the web, if not even more.
If not more.
Correct. So it's
And by the way, I mean, OpenAI, ChatGPT, all these guys, I mean, they're rolling out their ad plans now. They've been
yeah,
ad free, but they're rolling out their ad plans now. Holy cow.
yep.
What is that going to do?
Yeah,
I
it is a
mean,
bit of the Wild West. It's like, gold rush, as we've been saying since episode
yeah.
one. And it's one of the things,
First
good
first
SEO,
in is first in is going to win.
well,
That's
and
what I'm saying.
and good AI optimization generally starts with good SEO optimization. And just
That's right.
and really that mentality of we give a shit about our website.
And
That's what it
we
starts with. It all
Well, and we
starts with
and
we
we
give a
love
shit.
what we do enough to talk about our company in a thought leadership way. We love what we do and we're
Yeah.
passionate about what we do. And that's why we've got great educational content. It's technical, it's deep, it's thought provoking, it's investigative, it's got citations back to, reports and
Hmm.
investigations and this and that. And now, because these engines are so smart, they
Yep.
know, like, okay, these guys are passionate and they have a lot of great
Yeah.
information. We feel very confident serving this up.
Yep. 100%.
So, listen, uh, top 10 reasons why construction companies get their websites wrong. We'll recap this in the show notes, but essentially, mentality, talent acquisition, lack of professional look, built on poor platforms, all of this stuff, not
Yeah.
promoting it out, no social media, dated news and all that just kind of gives the end user the ick, and everything else, right? So, talent acquisition, a big one. As we move into
Yeah.
2030, I can't say it enough. Statistics saying 60% of all construction leadership is retiring by 2030. Gen X was told not to go in the trades. They were, the only option in the world was to go get a college degree and get a white collar job. So
Yep.
there's a huge vacuum coming.
Well, and the Gen Xers built their own companies, if
Well, they're
anything.
yeah, they're leading their own company, but
Correct.
and so if you want the Gen Zs, which are slowly coming up, they're in their 20s now. They'll be in their 30s here in
Yeah.
a few years. That's all they've known is AI and
Correct.
Google and
Yeah.
reviews and research. They don't know anything else.
Yep.
So good luck if you're going to ignore it.
Yep. Yep.
If you
You
need
can't
it,
bury your
if you
head in
need
the sand.
anything, give us a call. We're altcmo.net, .net, not .com. AltCMO.net. Again, we'd love to just have a free consultation. If you're interested, we can kind of look at everything from top to bottom, give you some
Yep.
outlines on what you can do to be more successful. And we'd love to help your firm out. And I hope you got some great information on this, and we'll see you next week.